Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is the first of a two-part series in how to thrive in stressful situations so you can show up more authentically you. This video was in part inspired by a request made by one of my YouTube followers, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much to everyone who has given me positive feedback and encouragement to keep making content. I look forward to seeing some of the comments made for this video. Today you're getting a sneak peek into how I help some of my clients master their responses to stress. So let's get into it. In this video, I will be giving some tips in becoming better at coping with stressful situations and stressful environments, and tips to thrive in stressful environments by way of knowing yourself and being connected to yourself so that you can show up present and ready to respond in the ways that only you can. And also with that, I will be giving some examples and things that have been helpful for my clients in deepening their emotional connection to themselves. In times of stress, we as people revert to the factory reset version of ourselves. We all cope with stress in different ways. I've had clients say that at work and board meetings, they respond by shutting down in their meetings. They find themselves not rising to the occasion of what's being asked of them, even though they have the skills to do what it is that's being asked of them, simply because it's a stressful situation, and finding themselves perplexed by their responses. I've had clients who were fearful to do parts of their job, even though they loved them, and wonder what's happening in these stressful times that's causing them to shut down, literally run out of the room, or mentally run out of situations that they want to be a part of and want to capitalize on. This is something that can affect everyone. A good starting place to addressing some of these responses that you'd like to change is a recognition that these responses have served you in some way in the past. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but stay with me and it will all be explained, and I hope it will make sense by the end. We all come from somewhere, and we all, in our behaviors, are informed by something. And often if you want to change a behavior, you have to understand why it is that you are doing that behavior. The way that you respond in a stressful situation is probably something that has kept you alive and functioning, and it has gotten you to the place that you are now watching this video, or the person who is sitting in my session. That has literally kept you and delivered you to this point now. And recognizing that is so very important. So I used to work for a nonprofit that worked with foster care youth. As children, we learn ways to cope with our environment, and then we build our adult selves on top of the ways that we have historically coped with stress. Let's give an example. If a kid grows up in a household where they are told that speaking about emotions or engaging in your emotions is a bad thing, and it might have, in sharing your emotions, might have even opened you up to abuse, then shutting down would be a way that a kid could stay safe. It's also a way that a kid would respond in a stressful situation. That is one way that a kid could do that. That response to stress is literally keeping that kid safe. And this is what a lot of adults have built their models to respond to in stressful situations on. It's important that as adults that we recognize that our responses to stressful situations or traumatic situations has literally kept you safe in the past, and is a great tool to use as one tool to keeping yourself safe in a range of unsafe situations. Now the problem arises when you want to do something different in your work environment, when you want to do something different in your household, or you want to do something different in response to friends, and that is the only response that you have to stressful environments. So what we're talking about today is learning some new tools to begin to start responding to stressful situations in the ways that you want to respond to stressful situations, and respond the ways you feel comfortable responding, and not feel like you have to, and not feel like you're getting jerked back into old ways of responding to in stressful situations that aren't serving you right now. That response to stress isn't a negative thing. It's just a part of what makes up a healthy person. Then you can start to build from there, and to start and to go down your journey of mastering your responses in stressful situations. One thing that I've noticed that really gets in the way of people's progress in mastering stress is blaming oneself for the responses that one has in stressful situations, and being so down on themselves, like, why did I respond that way? Why do I do this? I can't believe I'm this way. I can't believe, and getting in the way and blaming oneself. I've worked in a range of different environments with people with complex trauma, and I've seen people kind of really blame themselves for these things. And there are some devices that you would use for children and adults that would really get at how much blame people are holding for these responses in stressful situations that have literally kept them safe, and how much, and also how much blame a person is holding on to for the actual traumas or unhealthy environments that they've grown up with, how much blame they still hold on to today for those things. A tool that I would often use is called a blame pie. And what a blame pie is you sit down with a client and you have them draw out a circle on a piece of paper, and we call that a piece of pie, and it's a blame pie. And I ask my clients, for this unhealthy environment, how much blame do you assign to yourself? And often they would draw very large pieces of pie, maybe even over 50% of a pie, and say that they deserve, 60% of this blame pie, or 70%. Some people would be high as 80% of this blame pie for situations that they had no choice in. And these kids grow up into adults who hold on to the blame for the unhealthy environments. And as a therapist, you can start to really to dig at that and say, well, let's look at another kid. How much blame should this external 6-year-old take for being abused, or being in an abusive household, or being in an unhealthy household that doesn't value a person's feelings or their emotions, or hasn't historically valued a person's feelings or emotions? How much blame should this kid over here take for that? And the response for that will be, well, none. There's nothing they could have done to deserve this. This is a model that some of my clients have built on top of this idea that they're somehow to blame for the way they had to respond to these unhealthy environments, and that it was their fault for it. And I'm here to tell you that that is a major way that those unhealthy environments can still create this major roadblock in your healing and your success. So be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, and allow yourself the space to see that your responses are founded on something, and they have helped you in some way or another. And now it's time to just learn some new responses, and it's time to pick up some new tools. And with that, we'll get into some of the more nitty gritty stuff. But if nothing else, if you just learn to accept yourself and the things that you've been through to get here, then that will be a great thing to have taken from this video. Thank you so much for watching the first part of Mastering Stress. Stay tuned for the second part. I promise it will be even better. If you have any questions about the content, please feel free to message me and leave any comments below. I also read those. I enjoy reading them. If you want to check out my previous things that I've done in the past, feel free to click on the link above. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell so you can know when the latest video has been uploaded. And on Facebook, I don't really know what you're supposed to do. I'll get back to you on that. All right, take care.